Welcome back, everyone. Back like we never left, B.D.A, and we're here to talk about One Piece chapter 1022. They're chapters that come out and you can't help after you read it to you smile uncontrollably. You don't know what to do with yourself. And this chapter is one of them because, man, the last panel in this chapter, you love it. These are the moments that you absolutely enjoy and adore because it's two of our best boys coming together, working together, and there's always so much contention between the two. I can't tell you guys how much I enjoyed this chapter. It was really damn good. But if you're here for the first time, like this is the first time watching the video, first time coming to the channel, subscribe because we do this every week, almost every day. We talk about something in regards to One Piece. Drop a like as well because I would certainly appreciate that. That helps out the channel. And without further ado, let's do a quick discussion about One Piece chapter 1022 because a lot went on and I'm excited for the future. Like seriously from this chapter. Okay, so the Flying Six are defeated. Who's who? Black Maria, Sasaki, Ulti page 1, and the only person left is Drake because X-Drake, he's on our side. So all of them are done. I said previously in my last discussion that I will hold out and reserve judgment for the Flying Six until we know for sure or for certain that they are defeated. They're done. Now I ask the question, were they underwhelming? Did they live up to the hype that you felt like they got? Do you guys remember that chapter when they walked in? We didn't actually see their faces. It was just their feet, their shoes, their swords. Did they actually live up to the hype that you feel like the story set them up to be? I think they were fine. They weren't that bad. But remember Sasaki a couple chapters ago was saying, well, do you know why the beast pirates are feared? Well, definitely the Flying Six, boy. Ain't no way, but they are fine. I think the point here, how you can look at it is that it's not necessarily about how weak the Flying Six were, but how strong the Straw Hats are, how strong they've gotten. Conversation that we were having in my stream before in reacting to the chapter, we were saying that the Straw Hat Pirates right now could compete with any Yonko's crew. It'll be very difficult for me to take another Yonko's crew ahead of the Straw Hat crew. But, you know, I digress. For the Flying Six, though, are there any individuals that I think could return? Possibly page 1. Because out of all of them, he didn't necessarily get like a devastating final attack. It was not like that for him. He just got, you know, it was Big Mom, it was Conqueror's Coding, and it doesn't feel like a final thing for him. So he's the only person I could see possibly coming back because I think Usopp desperately needs a moment, unless Oda is saving it for Elbaf. So I'll hold out hope there, but they're all gone. I was also comparing the Flying Six to the Grand Fleet captains. Like, how do they compare? How do they stack up? How do they match up? You guys can leave your thoughts below about that. Do you think the Grand Fleet captains, Leo, Cavendish, Bartolomeo, do you think those guys are probably a bit more powerful than the Flying Six? Or, you know, the Flying Six are powerful? Or I don't know. I think it's pretty close, but I'm probably leaning towards the Grand Fleet captain. So something that I was thinking about as well. I'm just, you know, giving you guys my thoughts because this chapter was, it had me all over the place. I'll say that. Oda finally gave his countdown. This is something that Oda loves to do, the countdown thing, letting us know how much time is left before apocalypse, right? Essentially. So 15 minutes remain before Onigashima lands at the capital. What does this mean? Not much. Okay. It does mean something, but when I say not much, people were assuming that everything has to be wrapped up in 15 minutes, which I don't think is necessarily the case because only thing this means is that in 15 minutes, Momonosuke has to be ready to do whatever he needs to do because he's the one that has to save the Wano capital. Now, how you think that's going to go, it depends on your perspective of the situation. Do you think Momonosuke does age? I think it could, more than likely he's going to age. Secondly, Kaido's flame clouds. Are those a passive ability? Is it something that Kaido is doing or trying to do at the moment? And why that matters is because if it is a passive ability where it's nothing he has to actually do, he can just activate the flame clouds and they just, you know, levitate the island. For Momonosuke, when he does it, is it going to take effort? Is Momonosuke going to have to try to keep this island afloat? Because it could be a situation very reminiscent to his father, where he's there trying to hold up this island to save the people of the capital, which would be, you know, it'd be an amazing callback to showing, you know, Odin, the former Kozuki, the next shogun he was supposed to be, and now his son, his heir, he is doing the same thing, saving the people of Wano on a much larger scale, right? Because he's holding up an island, but he's holding up his people. The 15 minutes is just letting us know when this has to happen. Is Momonosuke ready to do this? Because just because he's aged up doesn't mean he completely understands the technique. So I think that's what that is indicating. I don't think all the fights need to be wrapped up in 15 minutes, right? Fukukuju versus Raizo. This is one of those matchups that a lot of people don't really talk about. I completely forgot about this match. I think I forgot about it because it's not something that I'm highly anticipating. Like, it's something that had been foreshadowed. Like, it was expected based on just how they were talking to each other and Raizo being a former member, all these different things. It was obvious he was going to fight Fukukuju, but it's not something I'm super excited about at all. Like, it's cool, right? It's cool with Raizo because Raizo is, he has some funky powers, and Fukukuju, he has flying earlobes. It's the weirdest thing. And now when I see things like this, I just think of Oda and his mind at work, right? It's just him being creative, his creativity running wild. So when you see matchups, think of the wackiest possible thing that could happen, and Oda's gonna make that happen because that's just how his mind works, right? Fukukuju and Raizo, though, idealistically, they come at it from completely different perspectives, which I couldn't understand. Where if you've seen Black Panther, you understand where even if the king falls, the guard is meant to serve the current king. It doesn't matter who the current king is, they're meant to serve the current king. And that is a, deep sense of duty that I sense from Fukukuju. But then you got to sometimes separate your duty from doing what's right. But most times for archaic functionalities like a shogunate, you have people like Fukukuju who feel like it doesn't matter, we have to serve who is in power. In regards to duty, it is completely 100% the correct thing to do. But then you got to look at it from Raizo's perspective. Fukukuju is saying he's clinging on to a ghost, but for Raizo, he's trying to fulfill his master's dream. It's weird as heck, but I'm getting somewhat Danzo vibes from Fukukuju, where he has an amazing sense of duty, but he's willing to do whatever it takes for Wano, I guess. But Wano went into shambles because of Orochi, so then I can't support your decision. Because what do you really care about? Is it just about you fulfilling your position? Is it about the people? You don't seem to care about anyone else but yourself. So that's why, for a fan, a reader, other than the obvious, I'm siding with Raizo and the Alliance. Hawkins versus Killer. I just love what's going on here because I love Killer, very analytical. I think I mentioned before, when we think about Rayleigh and him being the standard of a right hand, I think Killer, in regards to personality, is probably the closest to someone like Rayleigh. Smart, a support system that his captain can lean on, a completely different perspective, right? Where his captain is the meathead adventurer and he's the smart analytical guy. The only person who has that seems to be Kid. Zoro's not like that. Beppo's not like that. It's like the only person who has that is Kid, which is really cool. But Hawkins, early in Wano, I loved how he carried himself. I think he was amazing. I think he fulfilled the duty of an antagonist. He was my favorite part of Kaido's alliance early in Wano, up until the point where he's fighting Law, chasing Law. He was just really good. He fell off towards the middle. Now he's back. Killer almost killed Kid, but he stopped him because he wants him to fight with that decision. Because, it could have been over for Kid right then and there. But I think Oda's going to make or find a connection between Kid and Killer to overcome this situation because it's a very daunting situation. But I love Killer, love Hawkins when he's in his bag. So this was really dope to me. Now the elephant in the room, Queen and King. Now, I think this part gave me chills, right? When we jumped to the part where because Marco seemed like he was down and out. Then he had to save Zoro because they're trying to protect Zoro from King. Because King is like, we got to get Roronoa Zoro. We got to get him ASAP. And then we find out Sanji was fighting King and Queen by himself. No raid suit. I'm not going to elaborate on that. Take that for what it's worth. Monster. Then they finally find Zoro. King attacks Zoro. Marco steps in and blocks the attack because they've given Zoro the pill and they're waiting for it to work. Marco blocks the attack and then things start going crazy. There is a mention about King and his race and him living on the red line, and I'm like, this deserves some extensive research to figure out, okay, where are we going with this? What was King's purpose of the red line? That's something else we have to dissect because there's some things about the red line and the seasons on the red line that we'll talk about. I think it's very important, right? But tidbit that Oda left for us. And apparently King, the fire is because his race, they are conjurers. So take that for what it's worth, but that's something that Oda's building up in the story. I can't wait to learn more about that. I loved Marco passing the baton, figuratively, by saying, he's done all he could. The point is for the next stars to take the stage, and the next stars at this point is Zoro and Sanji. Of course, Luffy as well, but for this particular scenario, Zoro and Sanji. And I don't think they could have had a better entrance. It was like, I could hear, listen, Purgatory, Mouton, and then seeing Onigiri and then Shot, it was like, oh my God, the boys are back. As toxic as the community can be, I would say that moments like this, I really enjoy and love being in the community because it's small chance for us to come together and celebrate both characters. No Zoro versus, no. It's just appreciating what they are, which they are Luffy's wings. Basically supplementing and doing what Luffy cannot at that time, protecting their captain. And when you look at it, thematically, and what Oda's trying to convey is that they're going to help him soar, where he's going to elevate the higher they go because they are his wings. Absolutely love the chapter. I can't say that enough. The Flying Six, overall, in my opinion, a disappointment. They were fine. I just expected a bit more. I'm not sure if it's the quickened pace. I do think they did fine in their battles, but it just, maybe I had too many expectations for them, but I just thought it was a little, you know what I mean? So overall, a very good chapter. I think one of the, we can say this almost every week. Well, not almost every week. There are weeks where you can say like this chapter, man, it's giving back some Straw Hat vibes that I missed. And Zoro and Sanji working together, talking together, no snide remarks, no snarky remarks, just talking about their captain and how they can elevate their captain. This shows just why both of them are absolutely necessary for Luffy to become Pirate King. He needs them. They know that and they accept that role. So beautiful thing, just an amazing spread. The color panels, oh, listen, man, beautiful, right? Shout out to the people that do that. I'll put the link to the color spreads and color panels in the description below. Guys, how do you feel about the chapter? I thought it was really damn good, like a really good one. So many different things Oda bounced around to, but I felt like the flow was fine. I don't think it was as good as maybe last chapter or the chapter before. I think last chapter, the flow was a bit better, but this chapter, it was good because of the ending and what we saw with King and Queen. It led to an amazing result. So guys, give me your thoughts. Also, still have a promotion going on with Skillshare where 1,000 people, you can get a free month with Skillshare, 100% free. Just click on the link in the description. By doing so, this will also make you eligible for a raffle to win hundreds of dollars. So more on that coming, but if you just want to be a part of it, click the link below. It is literally free. And this is more so about you guys growing in different areas in regards to practicality, or even more than that, right? So I think because it's free, I just want you guys to really take advantage of it, but do that so you can enter the raffle as well. I'll put more about that somewhere around the channel. But guys, give me your thoughts. Make sure to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Guys, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
I start doubting me, I felt lost. I rewrite it.